Hello, everybody. So my name's Jeffrey Damian. I'm just kind of recording this video. Lots been on my mind lately, and I kind of just want people to, understand kind of what HIV is for some people. Even now, I mean, it's it's definitely not a death sentence. It's not something that um, that people I think should be so fearful of. In a way that a lot of people still are. It's a lot of miseducation. It's a lot of I guess for any disease or anything in our world, people. I want to say I don't want to say fear tactics, but it just seems like there are because people aren't educated or they think that things are a certain way when they're not. That's not reality. Um, HIV is not. Like I said, it's not a death sentence. It's not something that just I won't say it doesn't destroy lives because for some it still does. For some it really takes away um, a sense of self, a sense of worth, value. For some, it's even people that get simple STDs that are curable. There's a lot of things that are kind of come into play with HIV. Um, I was diagnosed back in March of 2011. Um, Kind of crazy. So the end of 2010 is probably when I contracted it. And it was insane because in February 2011, it was kind of crazy because I literally was at Armorer School at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. Um, Sorry, I just needed to drink something. So I was at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, for doing a unit armorer course with a couple people, a couple soldiers from my unit. And I remember just getting sick at the airport on my way there. I believe I was at Detroit, I believe, before I flew out that way. Um, I might have been. I don't know. It doesn't matter where I was at. I was somewhere at an airport when I started noticing my throat was getting hoarse. And I was just starting to feel like sick. I just didn't feel well. My flight was delayed. So, I got there late the next day. I was late for the class to begin with. I was already not feeling well. And all of a sudden, just like that next day, it hit me hard. I had a rash. I could hardly talk. I was sleepy all the time because I was sick. It was like a terrible flu. Um, it actually hurt to eat. And even my doctor now said that she's never heard of people's teeth hurting. Like they've heard of, the rash and the flu-like symptoms, and that was my body, saying, hey, you got HIV. HIV's here. Because not everyone has reactions when they contract it. They don't. Not everyone. At the time I went in March when I got all my stuff done, said and done with, you know, I, they said they estimated I probably had about 6 months, which would have put me around November or October somewhere. And at that time I was, had been with this guy for my first time with settling down with a guy, trying to make a relationship work, don't ask, don't tell policy in the military, and just all these things. And it was just about to be repealed. So all those things were in the back of my mind, and but the first moment, excuse me, to really defeat all that, excuse me. But I was in a relationship first time settling down, so that was the feelings I was dealing with. I was dealing with, oh my God, I gotta tell my boyfriend, did he give it to me? Who else? I haven't had sex with anybody. I don't do drugs. I haven't had a blood transfusion. I was just thinking of things that would have given me HIV. I just thought, what the hell is going on? Like, I didn't understand it. It was one of the worst moments in my life. And even to this day, I still cry about it sometimes. I remember that feeling, like feeling lost, feeling trashy, feeling like no one would ever love me, feeling like I let everybody down, feeling like, wow, my world is going to be done. There is nothing. I'm going to get kicked out of the military. No one's ever going to want to be with me. People are going to look at me with disgust, and I will never, ever know what love is. Those are the main things in my mind. And mostly, like I said, I felt like a failure. I got something, I was like, that can't be me, Like, that couldn't be. How could that be me? How could I, Jeffrey Damian, have HIV? Granted, I had unprotected sex all the time, never. And the first time I settled down with a man, it's like, what the hell? And I contract HIV. Um, it is it is, it probably will be the most defining moment in my life to be diagnosed with HIV. The depression that came with it, that still probably is there, well, still is here. Um, those feelings occasionally come up. You know, people still make jokes and stuff. And although I don't really let that bother me, there are moments of weakness where people's jokes are kind of like, damn, you know, shit, people still think that stuff. Cruel. And they really just don't think about it. Just like I'm very insensitive to some things. And I really try not to be. I do try to listen to people and allow myself to be educated. This world is a vast place full of tons and tons of knowledge. And I think we all get in our own little worlds and we don't always allow ourselves to be open to education, open to really researching things, to kind of finding out answers, or just looking at things from other people's perspectives. Um, but yeah, so I mean, all those feelings, just a lot. And basically, the way I was diagnosed was I was about to go to I was about to go to do airborne in the military. I was with a dental unit, but somehow one of my sergeants got some spots, which was cool. Not really supposed to, but hey, it was cool. He was on it, dude. I was about to go. I was excited, you know. And I just remember we were it was our battle assembly, excuse me, before we were gonna go to Alaska for a month. And I remember drill weekend. I remember walking all around, happy, smiling, being stupid and goofy like I always am. And I just remember at the end of the day, my commander just told me, "Hey, Dom, man, Special Diamond, I need you to come into the office. You know, we have something serious to discuss." And I'm just sitting there like, I was like, and I'll never forget. I was like, "Colonel Dundon," I'm like, "Hey, it ain't that big of a deal. This component listing, we're gonna figure it out," because we were having some issues with with medical supplies and stuff. It was just a lot of drama trying to get medical supplies and last minute things and funding approved. And in case you didn't know, medical supplies are not cheap. So it was a lot, and he looked stressed out. So I was just like, and he said it again. He's like, "No, we really have something serious to talk about." And, once again, I'm laughing. I'm like, "Oh, man, no, sir, we got this. This ain't nothing. We're going to take care of this." And I go in to the office. And I see another full bird colonel with a chaplain. So, or chaplain, excuse me, but he had a cross on his uniform. So, chaplain, it's kind of weird. It's kind of starting getting, like, feeling a little weird. Like, what's going on? And then I just seen another officer in there. And, they just they all greeted me, whatever. We sat down, and then this guy opens up this folder, and he just says, "Specialist Tommy, and I'm sorry to have to inform you this, but you did test positive for HIV." And I was just like, I mean, I think that's just how I just sat and stared. I mean, what do you say to that? I'm literally getting my mind psyched up for this month-long mission. Ooh, I'm probably going to cry now. I remember the feeling. You don't forget that. You feel like everything's just closing in on you. You feel like everything is going to just be gone. Like there's nothing left of you. Because you feel worthless. You feel you made a mistake. And it's not a mistake that can be repaired. It's a mistake that you have to live with and adapt your life to for the rest of your life. I wanted to die. Every part of me wanted to die in that moment. Like I was so shocked, I think. But inside, I think I wanted to die. I wanted to get hit by a bus. I wanted to maybe kill myself. I wanted to do a million things. And I didn't. But I wanted to. I just wanted to be gone. I wanted the world to be done. Because I felt worthless. Beyond worthless. I've never felt so low in my life. You have no clue. I mean, even becoming a drug addict later in my life, I've never felt so low as I did in that moment. I felt the lowest I will probably ever feel in my life. And I sat there, and they finally asked me if I was okay, and I was. I mean, for the moment. We went to Alaska, a month-long mission, guys, in Alaska. No, hardly any cell reception. It was hard. I was went to some of the outlying communities. One of them I was stuck in for like 3 or 4 days. That was fun. The rest of the time I was stuck with the main body in Fairbanks, Alaska. And I drove people around, and I cleaned bathrooms. That's what I did for a month almost. You want to talk about depressing? Not being, I mean, granted, I had the most of the day to myself, and I had a vehicle we could use, drive around. You want to talk about depressing? And they asked me if I wanted to go, and I am stubborn. I am stubborn, I am strong, and I am full of myself at times. And if I spent the time and energy on a mission, I will make it happen. I will make sure I'm there. I did so much work for that mission. Go a mission to Alaska. I think I would have been more. Iraq, going to Iraq was complicated. I wasn't there for the beginning. Going back was complicated. But I'm telling you, Alaska, I don't know what it is with getting equipment there. It is complicated. It is extremely complicated. There's so many loopholes, so many things you have to do. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm going on this mission. Are you crazy? I got myself together. They're like, we'll understand if you don't. I said, oh no, you got me fucked up. I'm not. I'm very serious about my word. If I say I'm going to do something, for the most part, I'm going to. That's just not who I am. So, I go and I do that, and it was very depressing, but peaceful at the same time. Alaska is a beautiful place. So it worked against me and for me, I guess, at the same time. Like, it was a very interesting time in my life. And they did say, hey, we can take another test, and you can take one. I did go up there and I took another test, and when I came back, that came back positive as well. So, I was HIV positive. It was awful. I was so depressed. I felt so alone, and I wasn't. And then there was a few people in there, part of the command team, that knew all day. They knew all day that I was about to get delivered all this terrible news. And it was so crazy because I felt weird. Like, I felt like they weren't really paying as much attention to me. And it was so funny because one of my sergeants straight up told me, to this day, Erica, I love her to death. Erica Cordish, an amazing human being, told me, like, Dom, man, I knew what was going to be told to you at the end of the day, and it was hard for me to be around you because I just knew that was going to ruin your whole, like, just ruin your life, like, ruin your day, and it did. And she was right, and it was crazy to me. Like, something like that could just be done and throw everything into I don't know, just like an explosion of emotion. And I don't even know how to describe it. It was the most depressing, defining moment of my life. And later down, that was 2011. In 2015, 4 years later, getting in a relationship with a man that was on drugs. I turned to drugs. I was trying to kill myself. I wanted to die. There was actually a time in 2011. I remember coming to Drill. They let me leave for Drill because I was so stressed. I was almost breaking down in tears. Like, it was just hitting me hard. And they let me drive home. And I literally almost thought about driving off Route 8, off a bridge, and just being done. And I didn't, and I still don't. Even drug use, I ruined my life in so many ways. I'm still in a bankruptcy currently because of the stuff I did when I was on drugs, from depression, which a lot of that stemmed from HIV, but a lot of that stemmed also from my childhood, being molested as a kid, all these other things that have happened. And you combine HIV, you combine all these things, and somewhere inside, you find the strength to just keep it going, because guess what? The world it's not here to be forgiving to us. It's not. The world is the world. It's here. We're in it. So we have to do the best that we can do to be the best that we can be, to live, to love, to prosper, to support one another. And when moments of sadness and despair are there, to love one another. And yes, I'm an ass. I know this. Many people that know me personally, that are close to me, know I can be an ass sometimes. I'm a human being. I'm imperfect. I'm extremely flawed. I love who I am. There's work that I have to do, and I'm not done with it. And I think that's what's always saved me. Like I said, being molested as a kid, my dad, all the shit he did, just my mom being depressed all the time, me probably having issues with that because of her struggling with depression. Obviously there's some type of family history there. And then HIV, and you have people joking and laughing and being terrified of what people's opinions might be. And I was that way for a long time. And after a while, I get tired of being secretive about being gay, or being secretive about my HIV status, or being secretive about being a drug addict or a drunk. I was a drunk. 2 years ago, I've been sober 2 years from alcohol. And what made me do that? One day, literally, I don't know what the hell happened, to be honest. My friend tells me a story, and it's not that I don't believe it necessarily, because I'm crazy. When I was drinking, I was crazy when I was drinking. But basically, I guess I was climbing out a window, whether to jump off or not. They went to grab me, and my shirt ripped, fell off. So whether I was going to jump or not, who knows? I was depressed, so it's entirely possible. But I broke my wrist, So, I had surgery on that. I almost broke my neck. I'm very grateful to be alive. I was in ICU for 3 days and I was in therapy for 4 days. All in all, I was in and out of the hospital in 4 days, or like 7 or 8 days. I was done. Like, I was good. My body heals. I feel healed pretty well for the most part. It's good it happened to me in my 30s, so I can heal faster. Um, and I'm trying to live the best life that I can. I'm still in this bankruptcy from just making terrible decisions when I was on drugs and everything else I've done. Um, but this message primarily is for people, I mean, either that don't know about HIV at all or don't understand, like, the person next to you could have it and you just don't know. So sometimes the comments, although to me personally, I don't really care about comments. I don't now. Back then I did. The more you get, the more time you have with something, whether it's disease or a person or whatever, the more time you're around something or you deal with it, I'm not going to say you become numb, but you really start to realize that people are going to be people and some things you're just not going to let bother you. And it's funny how your brain starts doing that. And I think that's where I am with that. Unless it's like really ignorant, then you're kind of like, hey, what the hell is wrong with you? But this message is for people with HIV or don't have HIV or whatever. This is for everybody. Love each other. Let's be helpful. Let's support one another, and really just understand that, like, everybody's journey with HIV that has HIV has been different. Every single journey. I'm on one pill a day. I just seen this cool commercial about now you can take a shot twice a month or something like that, which is amazing. Technology is coming. It's here, excuse me, and it's bringing a lot of cool things with it. And I just want people to know that HIV is not a death sentence. In some ways, some people will say maybe I'm crazy, but in some ways, it probably saved my life in some ways. Because I mean, I don't know what would have happened. I may have been deployed to Iraq again. I mean, I was thinking about going full time in the military. I mean, there's a million other paths I potentially could have went down, and that could be said of anything. But I am grateful sometimes that it happened. And that may sound, and not even sometimes, I am grateful it happened. It made me a better human being. I used to think I was perfect. And then HIV happened. Then drug use came. And I realized, wow, I am just like everybody else. Sometimes when you're doing well, I was working 2, 3 jobs, I was just doing all these things. And I had money and I was doing well. And I really thought I was going to, be this perfect person. And guess what? We're not. Not a single one of us is. We are extremely flawed. And I just want to tell everybody I love you. And whether you have HIV or not, stay blessed. Think about the people around you. And just remember, we are all in this together. And I love you all. Bye.